what you have in front of you is the artilleryman's, and this is an enlistedman's jacket. And this one was made at distributed through the Columbus Depot in Ohio. But you notice the red piping coming down the front where the buttons are and around the waist and on the collar. The red designates artillery. And this is what the guys loading the cannons would have worn. And these are made of wool, and this one has, I believe, a plaid lining in it. But it's really cool. And I'll get Kenny to zoom up on one of the buttons. Again, just like the cavalry jacket we showed in another video, this has the eagle motifs on the button. All right, Kenny, zoom in on the button there for him. All right, he's got a good shot there, a real good shot. All right, Kenny's phone just magically run, but anyway, there's the button. See, he's, you know, all military motifs, big federal eagle with a shield on it, which I love. And this is another one of the many uniforms. And we counted the other day, we got 56 different uniforms in the Battle of the Western Theater Museum. All right, we're going to go to the next artifact. All right, here's another unique item, which I love. I love early stuff. It started in the 1830s and 40s and ended up through the Civil War. This is a magnificent artilleryman's belt. And it's white buff leather, which the age has caught up with it, and it's dingy looking. And it's a cased pair of artillery epaulets. And this is pre-war, and the belt dates, it's a model 1830, early 30s. I'm not exactly sure, it's 31, 32. But it's just fantastic. And I'm going to try to zoom in on the belt buckle themselves. That's a two-piece, unique, and the diggers dig these things. But here's one on the original belt, which I love to see. And you got the Federal Eagle on the left and the U.S. on the right. And that's just another great piece of artillery that we're looking at, artifact. And I'll back it back out. And then guys and gals, we'll go to the next artifact. Okay, I had to include this thing in. This thing is a short artillery sword, Confederate, and it come out of a UCV, United Confederate Veterans Post, in central Kentucky years ago. And it's got this unique scabbard, and it's homemade wood, which is really cool. And it has his name stamped across the top portion of it. And this blade is over the top. It is the largest rasp file I believe I've ever seen. So we're going to try to pull in where you can see without making it too dizzy. Kenny's going to pull it up. This thing is the largest rasp file blade I've ever seen. And then there you go. That's good enough, Kenny. You can see the crosses on it. And this thing was made out of the largest file I ever seen. But it is so super cool. And I'm going to reposition the camera because I do want to get his name off the top of the scabbard. All right, and again, this homemade scabbard is over the top. And it's belonged to Henry Rimbaud. And it's just so cool. And this was hanging in that post until the late 1920s, central Kentucky. But it's another cool piece of artillery. And now we're going to move to the next artifact. All right, now we got a U.S. version of the short artillery sword by Ames. And this is an original scabbard, original belt, original hangers, and it's just really cool. So I'm just going to zoom up, and this is the 1831-32 pattern. This they carried through the Civil War. So I'm going to rotate around just a little bit and try to move in on the handle. Where you can see the hanger there. And kind of tilt up just a hair. And you can see the belt plate. And this is what the rig looked like when it was all together. This is a wonderful piece of equipment. And again, thrilled to death to show it to you. Because these things, you see them everywhere, but you never see them with the original rig. All right, and this is Union. So we're going to get ready to go to the next artifact. All right, we're in the Western Artillery case, the 5th Company, New Orleans, Louisiana. And here's a group of the gentlemen of the Western Artillery 5th Battery sitting at camp. And you notice their plaid shirts on. And underneath this particular photograph, we have one of these particular shirts, and we're going to show it to you. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on these courageous gentlemen. If y'all bear with me, Kenny Rogers had to step out. All right. There they are there with some plaid shirts on. Now we're going to show you what one looks like in the flesh. All right. What you have in front of you is a plaid shirt of the period there with milk glass buttons. But what is so unusual about this is the belt rig he has on. It has an over-the-shoulder support strap for carrying a saber. And it also has a white buffed belt, which is, all this is sewed together. And what's so cool about it, the U.S. is upside down. At the beginning of the war, if you were in the South, they would turn these upside down unless they had got issued a regular Confederate belt plate or a state belt plate. But this is really cool. You see ambrotypes with these belts upside down, and you see tintypes, and you see some cardivistas. But this is real cool, so I'm going to zoom in on it so you can get a look at one that is absolutely impeccable. All right, here we go. And there it is. And if you look off to the left, you can see the sword hangers. But that is just real cool. And it's never been off that belt. It's always been on that belt. And that's just an outstanding item, and I love it. And like I say, all you guys that collect images, this is one that is out of this world. All right, I'm going to move up to, I have some we're in the Westeren artillery case, so I'm going to move up to some Westeren artillery buttons and pins that when they had the United Confederate Veterans Association, these is what they gave the guys that were with the Westeren artillery. All right, this is this little grouping of Westeren artillery souvenirs that the gentlemen that were involved with the Westeren artillery during the Civil War, when they had their gatherings, this was some of the stuff that you would see. And I'm going to zoom in first on the ribbon and see how it looks. Remember, guys, this is real time. I don't have anybody editing on this one. I'm going to hit the main part down there at the bottom. And you see the WA. And I'll leave it there and let you get a little view of that. That's super cool. And I'm going to try to just rotate up just a hair if it will let me with the ribbon. And there it is. And then I'm going to move just directly to the right of it, and there's a UCV button with the Confederate battle flag on it. And then I'll rotate to the other side. This is cool, so I want to get a picture of this one. A little close-up, more of a close-up of it. And bear with me if I wiggle a little bit. There we go. That's a cool pin. Super cool. I'm backing up just a hair in case it's too fuzzy. There it is. That's real clear there. All right, we got one more little thing in here. So bear with me. I'm going to get you dizzy again. So if I can get right above, there it is. There's the little star. I don't know if I can get any better than that. That's it, guys. And I'm wiggling a little bit, so. But these are the Westeren artillery post-war artifacts for the United Confederate Veterans. All right, I want to include this in here. This is a 1850s Ames of Massachusetts artillery sword. And it's been reworked in a Confederate arsenal. And on that crossguard it has a V and an I which are simile marks. And on the back side, it has stamped 182. And of course, it's marked on the blade, Ames, and has the 1850 date on it. And just real cool because the handle is all Confederate, has a Confederate wire on it. And a lot of times after battles, they'd pick up broken pieces and send them back and have them reworked. Or, you know, somebody in New Orleans, this thing came out in New Orleans. This thing was gilded. The guard was gilded at one time, and you can see traces of it. I'm going to zoom in up on the handle. I just thought I'd include it in here because I think it's cool. There you can see the wire, which is absolutely untouched, Southern style. If you look right there on the cross guard where the sword goes into the scabbard, you can see the V and the I, and on the backside stamp. But if you look close on that guard, you can see where it was gilded. This is a pretty cool artifact, and that's Western theater again. They made do with what they had. And this is earlier than the Civil War, put back in the Civil War. Just another cool item. All right, we'll go to the next item. All right, what you have in front of you is a backpack with the 5th battery on it in red. And it's, of course, the blank I assume was a darker red, but it's faded over time. But that's a real cool backpack for the enlisted men in the Washington Artillery. And if you look at the bit to the left of it, that's got to be the largest bit I've ever seen. It can't fit a regular horse, that'd be a mule. But it's all hand forged, all handmade, pretty neat. And it's Southern to the bone. And I'm gonna just kind of go over because I love horse equipment. And we're gonna get that pack saddle in there too because it's marked. There we go on that bit. I want you to get a good look at that handmade bit. It's over the top. Southern made, real cool. All right, let's move to the next artifact. All right, what you have in front of you is a real crude Southern made artillery sword. And I mean crude, it is crude. And the blade is a non-stopper gutter type blade. But this is really cool and I want to include this in there. And I hope I can get a close-up of the casting on this thing. The quality's so poor, but these guys made do with what they had. I mean, the quality is just unbelievable. But it's poor casting, but this magnificent, screams Southern. It is a wonderful Southern sword. You kind of get it back there and we kind of get a look on it. It's a real cool period-made artillery saber. What you have in view is a wonderful pre-war Louisiana sword. And this is they call it a militia sword. And on the cross guard, if you look at the shield, it has the pelican feeding its babies. And that's the symbol for the state of Louisiana. And it also has a belt that comes with it. And we'll get a picture of the belt because the belt has Washington artillery on it. But this is just absolutely outstanding. And this is a fighting sword. It has a double-edged blade and it has a magnificent engraved scabbard that goes with it. But bear with me and we'll try to come up on the old Louisiana symbol there in the center. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. That's outstanding. And that's the Louisiana state seal, the pelican feeding its babies. Just, again, an absolutely magnificent sword. And you see Cartavistas and tintypes and Ambrose with these early militia swords. And with this Louisiana is just absolutely over the top. But we're going to back up a little bit because we've got to get this magnificent belt that goes with it. There we go. All right, we're going to move to the belt. All right, we had to pull the belt out of the display case, but we just had to get this on tape. This is a magnificent, untouched, and it originally was Moroccan red. belt. And this is from the late 1830s, 40s, some in that area, maybe a little earlier. And on the top, above the eagle, in the banner, it has Washington ART, artillery. So Kenny's going to zoom in, and we have, of course, the Louisiana sword there with it. And zoom in and pick that Washington artillery up and get you a good close look at that belt plate. That's about as good as it's going to get, Kenny. With our lighting in here, that's as just about as good as we're going to get it. But it's engraved Washington artillery, just over the top, just magnificent. And these guys formed in 1838, and a lot of people said they formed actually earlier than that. But anyway, so this is another wonderful piece of history, and a wonderful piece here in the old battles of the Western Theater Museum. And with that Louisiana sword with it, it's just absolutely cool as you can get if you love artillery. All right, Kenny, let's go to the next artifact. All right, we pulled this out of the case and get some better lighting for you, because this is a true, real pack saddle, and it's got the genuine CS markings on it. And actually, this come out of a barn in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. And we put that big heavy bit and laid it up there so you can see how monstrous it is. And I'm sure that's a mule bit. But this is, they put on the mules and the horses and strap different things on them. But that's the original one, and just out, over the top again. And you'll see that in the Washington artillery display. Of course, the Washington artillery is right down. You got Harrodsburg, Kerrville, all that area down there is Bragg exited Bardstown. That's where they went through. All right, Kenny, let's go to the next artifact. All right, what you have in front of you is a tampon. This fits in the end of the muzzle, and it covers it when it's not in use. And I believe this is for a 3-inch ordnance rifle. And Kenny's got a real good shot. I got to be careful because I got the real boss standing behind me, our manager of the museum. We're getting ready to open up again. And he's overseeing this particular video, so I got to be real careful. But anyway, Kenny, hello. So Kenny has a good shot. Now on this bit, he's going to back the camera off, and then we're going to roll over to the bit. There he goes, a little bit better picture of it. That's great. And without making y'all too dizzy. And he's going to zoom in on the brass emblems. Now this is a late 1850s French. This is imported, and these have been dug all over the South. The South used them, and that's an artillery bit. You see the cross cannons, but that was imported from France. And with the Washington artillery right there in New Orleans, guess what? They had some French equipment. But that's a great shot. All right, we're going to do one more farewell shot, and that'll be the end of this video. Thank you, Kenny, Mr. Manager. All right, this is the final artifact of the day, and it's a great oil painting, and it's the artillery, Union artillery, stuck in the mud right after a rainstorm, and it's just fabulous. It's got a lot of color to it, and this is, again, it's on display here in our artillery room. And Kenny's going to zoom up a little bit closer and maybe get some of the detail of it. But from the old Civil War guru, our master cameraman, Kenny Rogers, our manager, who's observing us, Mr. Kenny, and the board of directors of the old Civil War Museum and Battles of the Western Theater, we bid you farewell.